So now we're going to talk about how to tell the computer to do some math for us, and our goal is to change this feet value into a meters value. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of think about how I would solve this on my own without any computer help. And the way that I would do that is I would need to write a for every statement. So if I say for every, I want to know how for every 1 foot there is blank meters. Wait a second, I don't really know this, so let me ask Google. 1 foot, 2 meters. And it tells me that 1 foot is 0.3048 meters. I'm going to round that to 0.305 so that we have 3 significant figures, even though in our experiment we didn't do a good job of getting 3 significant figures. So 0.305 meters is our first for every statement. And on our second for every statement, I'm going to use our first data point as a sample. And our first data point was 10 feet. And I can see that here on my data, that right there it says that the first distance that was measured was 10 feet. So let me just think about how I would solve that. I would say that 10 feet is 10 times greater than 1 foot. So then this is going to be 10 times greater. So I can get a value of 3.05 meters. So that, now I know what the right answer is supposed to be, and I can try to figure out how to make the computer do it. Now the way that we're going to tell the computer to take this value of 10 is we're not going to just tell it the number 10. We're going to tell it where it's located in the spreadsheet. So in the spreadsheet, this value, they're arranged by row and column, and 10 is in column B and row 2. So that's how I'm going to tell the computer what it is that I'm actually talking about. And let me get back to my pointer here. There. Sorry about that. The first step that I need to do is in the box that I want the answer to pop up, I have to type an equal sign. And that's always what happens. And you can see as soon as I type that equal sign, now I get to this up into this little bar. I can see a little function thing going on. And I am telling the computer what math and function that I want it to do. The first thing that I'm going to tell it is what box to look in. And the box that I want to look in is B2. I could type B2. Or I could just click on B2. And either way, it kind of turns yellowy orange here, and then it matches up yellowy orange here. And all that's happening is it's saying that when you said B2, do you mean this box? And yeah, that's what I want to do. Now the output of this function right now currently is 10 because it's going to look for whatever is in cell B2 and return that number. So right now, if I hit enter, it would give me a value of 10. And if I change this to be 20, then that other box automatically changes. And there are times when we would want to do that. But that's not all I want to do to my formula, right? Like I said back here, I want to take my number 10 and essentially multiply it by 0.305 because this factor was this number. Okay? So now as I go back here, I want to take this and I want to tell it to multiply it by, and the way I got the multiply was the little star symbol. It's the above the 8. So I hit Shift 8 and 0.305. And again, it kind of gives me a little preview of what the answer is going to be. And it says 3.05. It's kind of, is that what you want to spit out? And I look and yeah, that's what I got by hand. So I'm going to hit enter. And now in that box, the answer is displayed of 3.05. But if you look up here in this top bar, it says B2. It says my formula, B2 equals B2 times 0.305. Now the advantage of this is that once I have this information, if I was like, oh wait, what a silly head. I didn't mean to type 10. I meant to type 100. If I change my original input, it will automatically change the output. So if I have a mistake or something, it will automatically change that to whatever the result of it is. The other big advantage is that I can now copy and paste this cell, and it will do that work on all of the rest of them. Now, I don't want to highlight and select my formula. I just want to click on the actual cell. Once I've got the actual cell, I could right-click and say copy. I could click on there, and then I could go to edit copy. I usually use the keyboard shortcuts and say Control-C, because Control C will copy it and it'll turn kind of a jaggedy dotted line. And the place that I want to copy that into is this second cell right down below it. And so now if I hit Control V, you can see that it changes the formula automatically for me. And it didn't just say the same exact formula and say B2 times 0.305. Now it says B3 times 0.305, which was 13. Okay, let's double check that. If I had this thing, and then I changed it and made this be 13, then that means over here I wouldn't be multiplying by 10, I'd be multiplying by 13, because this wouldn't be 10, this would be 13. And 3 times 0.305 was 3.0, or excuse me, 10 times this 0.305 was 3.05. So now I really just need 3 more than that, because 13 is just 3 more than that. So I could do this pretty easily in my head if I wanted to. Find out that this was 0.915, so 3.05 plus 0.915 gives me a total of 3.965 meters as my answer, which is exactly what the computer said. So it's always a good idea to just double check that your formula works more than once. And then now that we have that, though, here's where it really gets nice. Again, I can copy. I'll hit Control C to copy. I could have copied B2, this cell or this cell, but now I can highlight all of the rest of the data and in one swoop hit Control V to paste it all, and now all of the calculations are done for all of those cells. So that was very, very, very fast.